Good morning. Today we continue with Genesis chapter 14, verses 1 through 16, a passage that shows us Abram's responding to conflict, injustice, and responsibility with faith and courage. In verses 1 through 4, scripture sets the scene with kings going to war. This reminds us that the world Abram is living in is unstable and definitely violent. Even though Abram has been called by God, he's still living among nations marked by conflict. God's people are not removed from the realities of a broken world. In verses 5 through 11, the invading kings defeat several regions, including Sodom, and take people and goods captive. Lot, who had chosen to live near Sodom in Genesis 13, is taken captive along with his possessions. This shows us an important principle. Choices have consequences. Lot's earlier decision to move toward Sodom now places him in real danger. It looked great, and he probably didn't think of it then. And then in verse 12, Abram hears that his nephew Lot has been taken. This is a crucial moment. Abram is not obligated to intervene. Matter of fact, he probably could have looked out for himself and turned the other way. Lot had made his own choices, yet Abram does not respond with resentment or indifference. Instead, faith produces responsibility. Abram is willing to act for the good of others, even when it cost him. In verses 13 through 16, Abram gathers 318 trained servants and pursues the enemy. This shows us that Abram is not passive. Faith does not mean inactivity. Abram plans, acts wisely, and risks himself to rescue Lot. Yet, the success of the mission points beyond Abram. God is clearly giving victory here. Abram rescues Lot, covers the goods, and restores what is taken. We can see how this passage teaches us that walking by faith does not mean avoiding conflict, but responding to it rightly. Abram acts with courage, loyalty, and trust in God's provisions. He does not exploit the situation for gain, but acts to rescue and restore. You can see how this passage points us forward to Christ. Just as Abram went out to rescue one who had been taken captive, Jesus came to rescue those enslaved by sin. Where Abram risked his life to save Lot, Christ gave his life to save sinners. Deliverance is initiated by grace, not merit. As you live out your life today, consider how you respond when others are affected by their own poor choices. Ask God, pray to God that He gives you wisdom to act with courage, compassion, and integrity rather than indifference. Be willing to step into difficult situations when God calls you, trusting that obedience, not comfort, is the mark of a faithful life and a life that glorifies God. God bless.